Just before I was going to go on to deals and how they're structured nowadays, and again it's more like artist development. What do you think about A&R getting involved? Really, someone who plays an A&R role really early on in the career, is that sort of a manager's job? I mean, can A&R become before a label deal?
I mean, I don't think Jim's a good example, but I think most record companies now want managers to steer things much earlier. I mean, I'm not saying you wouldn't do it, but I think you get quite involved. Whereas, Duffy, Jeanette Lee, who managed Duffy, doesn't now but did. When she took that into Universal, there were 32 songs demoed. So, and all of them made the record. Mercy wasn't yet written, but everything else existed. And I think labels, particularly if there's an established manager, do like someone to come in with a plan.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
particularly now, because they don't get many shots at it, and they don't want to risk their jobs on putting down £1 million or whatever it is, particularly pop projects.
Yeah.
They want everything lined up. They want people to be able to go and sit down with senior people once the project is lined up. And there's a lot less experimentation, which I think is a shame. I think, if you think back to the days of Island Records, where people like Tom Waits were being given 30-piece orchestras to make weird art records, that's just a joke now. Can you imagine selling that to
you can do it all on a laptop anyway, can't
John Cale? Those records were made with amazing studios with top producers and sold no records. That's just never going to happen now.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Which is a shame, I think.
So just while we're on the subject of management, bring Paul back in here. How influential? I mean, obviously that your management team quite a bit. Great guys. Got 2 Doll Cinema Club as well at the moment, haven't they? How influential have they been on the shaping of Maximo Park? Not at all, or?
It's quite hard to.
I'll ask another question as well to bring it in as well. It's like, how useful have they been for you as an artist?
I think, especially early on, they were really important to the way things went. It's hard to quantify exactly what goes right for whatever reason and what goes wrong for whatever reason. It's a number of different things. But I think as a band, again speaking from a personal point of view, there's 5 people in our band who have very different opinions about music and everything else. And so having, especially 2 guys, not just one person, and in some ways it's like good cop, bad cop with Colin and Steph, our managers. You go to Colin with more business-related issues, and you go to Stefano with more of the artistic side of things. I mean, only this week I sent through a couple of demos to Steph that I'm not sure if I should be telling you this, but I sent him a couple of demos just to say, are these any good? Because the rest of the lads haven't really warmed to them. And he sent me a couple of messages today saying, I think these are really good songs. Definitely make an effort with the guys. And it's kind of like mediation and things like that, and over the years. But early doors, dealing with record companies and talking about contracts and strategies, again, it's not my cup of tea. So, you end up investing your trust in these people who you've only just met, and I think they've helped us do the right thing in many respects. I mean, when Cerne was talking about what songs to pick, I just write songs, that I think are good, and I want somebody else to tell me whether the right ones to release as singles, because I don't, to me they all sound like singles, but in an alternate reality where I'm the DJ selecting them on the radio. A lot of my favourite records never made it to the top 10, so I'm not really the best judge for things like that. And I want my music, and the rest of the lads as well, our music, to reach as many people as possible. And I think that kind of the managers, knowing that we had that ambition to reach a sort of infinite number of people, the limits and parameters are set by different things like radio play and fashion and all sorts of things. But they knew that we had that drive to just go out there and work hard, and they probably selected the right gigs for us at the right time, sort of again, I don't know where to play in. I mean, it comes into your booking agent as well, which is another key kind of.
It's your whole
factor.
team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
You assemble these people around you at the start of, when you sign your record contract, and within Warp there are people who, it's all internal, we never really got a external person outside of press and agents, it's so marketing and things like that. Again, it's somebody at Warp Records who understands our point of view, but also wants to sell something and is hopefully good at selling something.
Did you find it odd that you were an odd fish for Warp, because Warp was traditionally more of a sort of esoteric dance-based label? I mean, with the exception of broadcast, was it an odd thing for you?
It was, because we received an email from Stuart, who worked as the A&R guy from Warp, and he'd seen our red vinyl in Rough Trade Records, and he picked it up, and they might have heard us on XFM as well, because XFM had heard the music and started playing as John Kennedy late at night, and I assume lots of managers kind of listen into those shows as well to try and locate talent.
Yeah, and labels now. I mean, you developed yourself pretty much.
Well, we got involved with Warp, and it was unusual, but we felt that it was in complete alignment with the way that we positioned ourselves within pop music. We always said we were a pop band, and people would say, no, you're indie or you're rock or whatever, and obviously I'm aware that we fall into those genres more than R&B or whatever, but it was kind of about having a concept. Maybe bands don't always have that in mind, a specific kind of mindset with which to sell your music, if you like, to try and come across to people in a certain way. And I thought we played normal instruments. It's a very traditional setup in Maximo Park: keyboards, bass, guitar, drums, and vocals. But I felt like we were doing something different, just messing with it and kind of bending it slightly or warping it slightly. And for us to be on a label that is predominantly known for intelligent dance music, just we thought people will look at these guys and think, what's their problem?